ladies and gentlemen, 3 years ago, AR, VR and AR were considered the next big thing on every conference and every big tech event. Innovators and adapters indulged the immersive experience and everybody said, AR, VR, you have to do it. It's time now for a reality check. Where is the industry right now? Where is it going? What's the business case? That will be the topic of the next panel. And we have a great panel, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome. Please welcome. And you know what you have to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dana Porter, co-founder and CMO of Inception VR. Gentlemen, but we have more to come. Please welcome Rolf Illenberger, founder and CEO of VR. And please welcome Julie Shumaker, Vice President Advertising Solution of Unity Technology. There's more to come. Please welcome Stephan Heininger, head of VR, Deutschland Telekom. The magenta guy. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Christian Costa-Zahn. That's all yours.
Check, check. Can you hear me? Cool. So welcome to the only XR channel on DMEXCO. I thought this was already a very interesting fact because, as said before, XR, which already combines very complex, important things like virtual reality and augmented reality, was or is supposed to be the future of human-machine interface. It's maybe going to be the next computing platform. It's surely a very interesting medium and potentially will change, like the internet, every aspect of life and work. But still, there's only one panel. So it's time to do a reality check. So the question is, and the title of this talk, of this panel, where is the money? I think this question is easy to answer because the money is always there where you have a mass market, where you have reach. And I think we can talk about that. And maybe you don't agree, but there are a lot of interesting theories. I'm very glad that we have 4 very different companies here represented. And so, I would like to ask you to say who you are and who your company is, and especially who are your clients and what's your business model.
Great.
Julie, do you want to start?
So, Julie Shumaker, I work for Unity Technologies, and since this was an immersive panel, I decided 30 minutes ago to ride the bicycle here. It got a little misting and got the heart pumping, so I'm living it authentically, the VR, AR immersion, kind of Frogger on the way. So my role at Unity is the advertising platform. So I run the business for developers who build on Unity to make money. So it's perfect that we're here on this panel. Unity is really proud to be the development platform behind almost 65% of the world's AR and VR content, including all the gentlemen on this panel's businesses build the content on Unity. And so what that means is our job is to help the developer monetize this great interactive content that they build. So that's what I do. I help them use the tools and services to make money and then bring that wonderful advertising inventory to the brand marketplace, which is why we're here at DMEXCO.
Julie, once again, business model and clients?
Business model. So we are primarily a SaaS business. So developers license our software to build great interactive content. Particularly 3D real time is the real sweet spot for Unity's game engine. And so in that, there's a licensing fee. Although it's important to note that Unity is free to use as a software tool. It is the #1 software tool in the world. Free to consume until there's significant commercial success. And then on the advertising model, we sell advertising and take a revenue share on the advertising.
Cool. Thank you. Stephan, you want to take over?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I brought a trailer. Maybe we can have a look at it. So my name is Stephan Heininger. I'm with Deutsche Telekom, taking care of VR and AR business. And maybe we can have a look at the trailer first to get an impression about the product we launched.
Phew.
So you can see it's called Magenta Virtual Reality. It's an app which is an OTT app available for all consumers in Germany, where we actually implemented immersive content, VR content. We produce our own content, and what we try to do we try to actually create a proposition which is where is a need, from the consumer's perspective, and that's actually our task. So we're happy again to licensed content which is available in the market, but to produce our own content, actually we did market research to find out what's appropriate for which target group, and we are aiming for mass market. At the moment we have about 150,000 downloads, to answer your question, and but as you can imagine, as Deutsche Telekom, we are aiming for millions of customers, so I'm happy to get answers from the industry how to do so.
So the business model is B2C.
It's B2C.
Is it subscription or?
It is actually, at the moment, it's totally for free. And we're going probably for AWOD kind of business model. And to continue on maybe SWOD or a combination with Telekom products. But at the moment, it's actually for free. Because my belief is that we have to create reach first before starting with expensive models. We have to increase numbers.
Yeah. So I've sad news because Dana from Inception is not here. But I have good news because Andrew from Inception is here. So welcome.
Thank you.
Andrew, you want to take over?
Yes, so Andrew Mendoza, I'm Inception's Chief Strategy Officer based in London. And we're a technology and content company based in Tel Aviv. And technology, as the guys would tell you, is fundamental because the creation of great content cannot be disentangled from the content creation, both for VR and AR. So we're creating both VR content, immersive content for headsets, and AR content that can be consumed over mobiles. We've got a little show reel. It's not the best way to experience VR content, but a little show reel that shows you some of the work that we're doing for brands. And we've got 3 different businesses because we're trying to find the one that's going to have the best revenue prospects in the near term. But 3 different businesses, B2C, B2B, and B2C. But I'll talk about them after the show reel. So very quickly, the first business that we launched just about 2 years ago was a very similar business to Magenta. It's a B2C VR app on all the different app stores. We started with our own original programming to kickstart it, and we're now licensing and partnering with third-party content. We've got hundreds of pieces. Totality over the time frame, we've had about 1.5 million downloads. Concurrent users at the moment is less than that. The business model at the moment, that is free. There's been modest monetization in terms of sponsorship and product placement, but again, we're waiting for scale, and it's all about phasing the investment with the market. We then started working on augmented reality. We were a Facebook AR Studio closed beta partner, one of about 20 or 30 companies globally out of thousands that applied, and that pulled us into augmented reality with the Apple and Android announcements last year. It was very easy for us to do that because the skills with 3D models and Unity were the same. So we got a B2B business helping brands, B2C brands and B2B brands use VR content and AR content to get their message across from an immersive media perspective. And the third business, which is soft launching in November, is an AR B2C app, which is bringing children's books to life, bringing books to life in partnership with some leading publishers, including Penguin Random House. So in November, children will be able to have a 3D AR book with the pictures coming to life, and that's a free app with in-app purchase where you buy the book.
Cool, thank you. Thank you. Rolf,
Hi.
last but not least.
Thanks. Hi, my name is Rolf Illenberger. I'm founder and CEO of Beyond. And you can tell we're not in the content business, but really the tech business. So I just brought some slides, but bear with me. It's just really 3 of them. But maybe we can bring them up while I'm introducing what we are doing, so I can tell a little bit about what you see there. So basically, we developed a platform that allows anyone to create VR experiences, and not only to create VR experiences, but actually, next slide, to also publish and distribute VR experiences. Can we go to the next slide, or can I? Oh, exactly. So that's the platform that we have. It's easy to use. It's based on a SaaS model, so any one of you can who wants to get started with VR can check out our website, can download our authoring tool, and just get started with simple 360 images or videos, and can publish via our platform. We serve clients like Porsche, Bosch, E.ON, and some other big industry clients that use our platform as their kind of internal VR platform. And we're super proud that we are the VR partner of DMEXCO this year. So what we did is yesterday morning in the very, very early hours, like 5 to 7, we were in the halls recording the whole DMEXCO as a 360 video, and actually created a virtual walk through the DMEXCO that we published like at 10 o'clock. So it was very, very quick. This year it's not going to be publicly available because of legal issues, but certainly the DMEXCO has a vision, as with other conference operators, to kind of unbundle the physical event from a virtual participation. So that's certainly something for 2019 and 2020. So we're super proud. If you guys want to see that, visit us in Hall 9. So you can take a virtual tour through the DMEXCO at our booth in Hall 9.
Okay, thank you. So I guess this clock is wrong because we haven't been talking for 18 minutes. So we'll take more than 12 minutes for our discussion. Yeah, let's jump in. So I think the expectation in the last 2 or 3 years was that like a smartphone, everybody would prospectively use VR, AR on a daily or at least weekly basis. So we are not there. What you hear is, okay, everybody's waiting for kind of an iPhone effect, so the killer device, which is not there. The usability is okay or medium. And others say, yeah, but we also need the House of Cards effect. So where's the content where people want to see it and come back and come back? on the other side, you hear that in industry, industry 4.0, etc., it's becoming more and more important. So, first question to you, Julie, because you have all this data, you are serving nearly every player in this industry. So, what do you think? Where is XR already working? What are the most important fields right now?
So, well, certainly XR is absolutely here and real in industry. So, you know, whether you're working spatial relations in a warehouse virtually, NASA fixing Mars rovers through XR, mixed reality repair, that is very real, and it's mostly head-mounted display, which most of us aren't going to walk around and do. So what we're really excited about at Unity is that we're months away from 1 billion AR-enabled devices in every one of our hands. As a matter of fact, my guess is at least 60% of this room, given the affluence of this room, already has AR capabilities in your palm. And we actually disagree that it's going to be the historical chicken and egg content versus, because the ability to deliver micro AR experiences in an AR-enabled device through simple mobile apps is here. It's real. We suspect that most of you are going to consume your first AR content through an advertisement. And it's certainly why we are trying to help developers across the globe, whether they're a mobile developer not building AR content or actually AR developers, is to bring that content, surface these little micro experiences that hopefully many of you build for your clients, or if you are a client, encourage your agency to get started. So that's where we think that the very real opportunity, and it will be real reach this year. It's not going to be waiting around for 10 million AR-enabled apps. It's going to be 1 billion AR-enabled devices.
Yeah, I agree. And you have Facebook, Snapchat, and others which really push that. We were talking about this yesterday and say, okay, filters are AR, but it's not immersive media. So what would you say about immersive media, Stephan?
So wait a minute. I don't think calling what Snapchat does right now AR is not AR. It's camera, filters, and stickies, right? So we're talking about real-time augmented reality. That's what AR is. It's real-time 3D, which means that the experience has to see the space. That's capable right now in an ad format, right? So I just want to make sure.
But would you call it immersive media?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're bringing unlike ads where you're usually having the ad interrupt your real world, you're actually inviting the brand into your world, like physically in your living room. So absolutely, I think it's okay.
Maybe it's the definition. I totally see added value, but of course, like this goggle or glass thing where you in another world or your whole world is augmented is another step.
Yes.
And so my question would be maybe to you, what do you think? When will this be in a reach in a mass market situation? So and which are the obstacles right now in your point of view?
So actually, I would distinguish between B2C and B2B market and the marketing things, kind of. You know, brands want to position themselves with VR and AR, actually, to make themselves more famous, etc. If you look at B2B, it's, I guess, clear. There is clear applications available, like field force management and stuff like that. There is business possible, and there's actually the money at the moment. But if you look, to answer your question, if you look at the B2C market, again, the consumer has to have, fulfill, and the proposition has to fulfill a need. And actually, at the moment, it's nice, but it's not, that we have enough content, and B, the relevance, the difference between 2D and 360 is not that high that the customer actually is requesting, VR content in a high amount of pieces, and that's actually the problem. And if you look at how much money you get, a huge amount of content in the 2D world today, for $10 or $5, you get a huge bunch of, movies. It's actually hard to understand that we get about 10 or 5 or 20 bucks from the end consumer actually for a VR or AR proposition today. So it's a long way. So this is from the consumer's perspective actually a hard way to go.
But then I come back to this House of Cards effect. So in film and in series, there are funding models for really great content, and those drive users to the platform. So where are the funding models in VR for great content?
So it's a good question. Yesterday we had a discussion with the film studios, and they are still sticking to the old model, to the creating 2D content, you know, movies kind of. So I would say you have to split the content into different parts. So there's this pure entertainment, there's music. You have to have this immersive kind of experience. Then it makes fun and the consumer wants to have it again. You know, I don't see a huge market in the fiction, a huge, you know, production world in the fiction area. I guess it's very slow. So maybe we have to help ourselves to, you know, combine it with 2D content, to bring the 2D content in the VR experience, you know, to wear glasses, to have a big screen where you watch at least the 2D content in a very high value way, you know.
I mean, Andrew, as Mia, you are representing the production part of the business as well. So what do you think? So where are budgets and how will content find its way?
So I think the principal issue in VR is the quality and the price point of the device. And let's remember, it's only a couple of years old. And we're talking about tens of millions of installed base versus on AR, it'll be in a few years, billions of devices. All you need to do to get AR content is to create an app. The technology in the operating system and tools like Unity mean it's much easier to get that content out. So I think in terms of AR, there's not an issue on distribution. On the VR side, I think it will come. And for example, through our relationship with RTL and Fremantle, we've been experimenting and innovating with lots of hybrid TV VR formats. But again, that's the VR element of that, where you experience the show in a deeper way, say for an entertainment show, than you can on the 2D. It's reliant on the device distribution for it to be a critical mass or scale for advertisers. So I think VR is a timing thing. Devices have gone from being $1,000 to have a gaming PC and a big headset that's tethered to Oculus Go, which is $199, is an untethered. We're now seeing 30% of our volume on the app on Oculus Go. So I think it's a question of just device maturity. And that first smartphone wasn't as good as the most recent one. And 3 big players are investing a fortune in AR. And Apple are launching a VR/AR integrated device set in 2020. So I think it's VR, it's about patience, and the minute that device base gets to higher scale, there's so much content and brand innovation that can take place. It's just a timing thing.
Rolf, so you have big brands as your clients. They use your tool for what kind of experiences?
Yeah, exactly. So our clients are, I wouldn't call them brands, like from the communication industry perspective. We have just industry clients or enterprise clients, ranging from hotel owners that want to have a VR walkthrough up to you know, the biggest companies, car manufacturers that use our platform as kind of an internal VR intranet, I would call it. So it has nothing to do with marketing, at least in the most cases, but more with training, education, virtualization of assets. So it's not a question of reach, the use case and the business model behind that, but more a question of real usability and utilization within corporate processes. And that's why I nodded my head when you were doing the intro. I wouldn't say that the money is where the mass market is. This is not a wrong hypothesis, it's true. But the mass market for virtual reality, I think, is still very far away. But the money is really in the B2B right now. So there's use cases that really make sense, and enterprises have kind of overcome this hype that we had like 1-2 years ago, and the frustration after the hype, and now are really looking into this technology. And in my experience, more VR than AR yet, because VR is already at a stage where it can be integrated in corporate processes more easily than AR. And companies are looking into this in a way more rational way than they did like 2 years ago, where it was all about pilots and testing things and stuff. And now they're really looking into where's the use case to incorporate that in processes.
Yeah. I think from a branding perspective, brands and agencies need to think about VR as an aspect of experiential marketing rather than reach or audience-based marketing. So almost a lot of the work that we're doing is where brands have an audience that's captive either at a conference or through retail channels, but they want to be able to tell their story of their brand in a very privileged and private way for 3 minutes or 4 minutes, no distraction, no swiping, no. There's an incredible opportunity to tell the story in a way that leaves very, very powerful brand and emotional connections. It's just not available in sort of TV or digital reach, but you can execute.
Andrew, I want to build on that because I think you make a great point. Is some of the most successful executions that we've seen in VR are location-based, right? So experiential marketing is the right word. It's not an advertising budget. It's, I want my consumer to get deep and touch my brand. Everyone from like Sperry topsider shoes at the America's Cup, where the virtual reality, you're on the deck, you feel the wind and the mist of the air. Anyone have done one of those, like the Ghostbuster experiential in Manhattan, where you could smell the burnt marshmallow, and you were absolutely in that film. Now, here's the extension, though. I actually think that the great marketers are distributing it broadly. So they're taking a micro piece of that deep immersive experience and creating what is highly distributed augmented reality. So you can go into a portal where you are in the Ghostbuster scene, all in just a mobile. You can't even call it an app. It's distributed as an ad. So this is where we're seeing the deep immersive, what we like to call responsive storytelling of VR meets this high distribution augmented experience at scale. So we're pretty excited about that combination and seeing some great marketers execute against that, obviously on the heels of their agencies creating it.
And the content is reused. You're not having to recreate content. So the ability to invest in content and then have the VR, the AR, and parcel it into Instagram 2D, that's very important from an ROI perspective.
But it actually stays still to be a kind of promotional thing, to split it up again. So we have the B2B market, as Rolf said. Absolutely. There is a huge market, actually, field force management, brand issues. You sell it to B2B partners. But if you try to create a consumer proposition out of it today, it's not easy, I can tell you. So actually to monetize this, that's actually, so to say, my problem. So in our company, we have learning tools with VR, brilliant tools, really, really good. Again, B2B kind of. And so there is this traveling issue you were mentioning about hotels and traveling around. Brilliant, you can say, or real estate applications, which is great. You don't have to go there and to visit the house which you're going to buy. You look at it in real, almost really immersive way. But again, to create kind of bundle, so we need the content on one hand side and the glasses. So actually the device, you mentioned it, Andrew, is actually not there. So it's still, it's getting warm under it. The quality is not the best. You have to connect this and that, and then switch on this and that. It has to work like switching it on like the old radios,
Sure.
Pushing a button and that's it. And, we have to go there. And I believe actually in mixed reality, as you said, having a mixed reality glasses, because there you actually combine, the real and the virtual world. This is why I believed it.
I'm awfully sorry, ladies and gentlemen. The time is over. I'm giving them a big hand. That was a great panel. A big hand for Julie Shumaker, Stephan Heininger, Christine Kosten, and Dana Porter and Rolf Illenberger.